Ladies and gentlemen, hi and welcome on our pre-ICO store channel. My name is Kirill Lutsenko and I'm really happy to see you together with us today. So feel free if you have any questions to ask us during our conversation. And of course, today one more interesting project and we're talking about xDAC. So let's say describe xDAC. Let's say tell you. xDAC is a self-governed platform for creating and managing decentralized autonomous companies. And my guest today is the founder and project lead, Oscar Duris. Oscar, you're very welcome.
Hey, Kirill, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for the question. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So today we are start to learn about xDAC, and the topics we're going through is what is xDAC? What's the problem is trying to solve? Why now? Market size, business model, competition and competitors, and difference between DAO and xDAC. So first of all, just because I will never ever in my life hear what is DAO is about, what it's mean actually. Could you describe this definition for us?
Of course, if I may, I would like to start with a little bit of my background and get to the problematic we are trying to describe.
Okay.
So, as I was in college, I started to work for different banks, and I end up working with international payments. At that time, it was actually everything done through SWIFT. It is kind of like a machine that banks exchange payment information and private messages between each of them through secure line. And already at the time, I saw this technology was really old and inefficient, slow, and expensive. So I left banking industry and started my own online payment processing company. We created a network of bank accounts. They were called Nostro accounts in different countries and in different banks. And we built a consensus layer on top of it where people actually could transfer money securely and fast between different countries for really cheap fee. It was in cents, and basically that was 2 decades ago, and we were already doing a similar business model as Ripple right now. Later we built on top of it merchant payment processing option, so we were trying to compete with credit card processing, and we enabled merchants to place a buy now button on their website, and transaction was transferred between bank accounts in different countries. So it was really advanced project at that time, but unfortunately, as soon as banks found out what we are trying to do, they refused collaboration, and they were trying to close our bank accounts, take money from our accounts, and it was really frustrating period. That was few years before Bitcoin came around. So after I sold that company, I told myself I don't want to do anything related to financial services anymore. So I started a file sharing website and cloud storage service. We had over 1 million customers, and we were processing billions of files, storing billions of files. We created our own infrastructure. I designed the whole duplication system, file encryption, and file compression. So I have quite experience with managing large data, right? So this company was sold in early 2017, and after that, I started to learn a little bit more about blockchains. And of course, it took me quite a while. Basically, whole 2017, I was just researching. I had enough time to go through everything and learn about blockchains. And of course, a bit of trading between, and it didn't make sense to me that Bitcoin, after 8 years of existence, is still having a 80% correction. So I started to think about it a little bit. That why is that? And I realized that uh, that I understand the whole crypto space as a country, as a young country that has really little amount of people, and there is no economy. Everyone is just speculating what they're going to find in the country, if there's going to be a golden mine or if it's going to be just bland land. So all this speculation always driving price up and down. And I realized that if this country is not going to have any economy, it's always going to be the crypto space, this volatile. So I started thinking, there must be some platform that needs to create that economy, and it needs to create those jobs, those products and services within the space. And so people don't have to always speculate. They're gonna stay in the space. So that's how I came with an idea of platform for decentralized companies. And right now, basically, our team, I put together a team of people that I worked with before on my prior projects. And we are just trying to build this platform where anyone can create and manage a company in a crypto space. So that's what we are working on. That's the idea of the whole project.
I see. And right now, I understand is the idea of this project that just you're talking about. I want to understand what's right now the Decentralized Autonomic Organization, DAO, yeah, DAO, doing, and what's the difference between this Decentralized Autonomic Organization and between xDAC?
Yeah, so there are two differences, or I would a little bit start about what we are trying to solve, what kind of problems, and what problems is trying to DAO solve.
All right.
In xDAC, basically, we are trying to solve two problems. Problem of jurisdiction, when companies created in one jurisdiction have hard time to do the business in different jurisdictions. So let's say you create a company in Delaware and you want to conduct business in California. So you need to register a company in Delaware, you need to register the same company in California. You have to follow rules and regulation in Delaware, of state of Delaware, and state of California. You have to pay taxes in Delaware, you have to pay taxes in California. And this is the United States we are talking about, right? So how many more jurisdictions we have on this worldwide? Every jurisdiction has different rules. So if you wanna spread your company into different locations, or you try to sell your products or services to worldwide, you need to follow rules and regulations of every jurisdiction, right? A lot of startups start with a great idea and plan to sell to everyone, but after a while they realize, I can sell to this jurisdiction, or I can sell to that jurisdiction. I'm banned in that jurisdiction. So after a while, startups starting to realize that it's not that easy, and it's costs a lot of money actually run business worldwide. So with decentralized company, there is not going to be this problem. Second problem we are trying to solve is problem of automation. A lot of companies or financial institutions and government agencies and third-party applications are disconnected from company. So it's really hard to automate. And basically, business owner have hard time to focus on his business because he needs to maintain all these connections with banks and government and third-party applications. So what we are, our proposal and on our platform is we are creating a company on decentralized digital ledger. So company doesn't have a jurisdiction. And each company comes with 3 segments: segment of governance and dispute resolution, segment of payment processing and merchant tools, and payment of segment of team management. So these 3 segments are interconnected and automated. It's really important that we have all 3 segments together. I heard few comments that we are trying to solve too many problems, but if these 3 segments are not interconnected, it cannot be automated. Company cannot be self-governed automated, because you cannot have governance without enforcement, right? It's like having a government that doesn't have police or doesn't have army, right? So you need governance, and you need to have access to bank account, or in our case, it's going to be wallets of the business. So in case there's something wrong with the company, we can enforce rules through wallets of the company.
I see. You tell just right now said so the many countries have the different government regulations. Yeah.
Yeah.
How right now situation? What's happened right now with the blockchain and cryptocurrency regulation? And my question is, the xDAC based in United States?
At this moment, we are all our employees or whole our team is hired by a company, US company, right? But as soon as we launch our platform, we are going to be first company registered on our platform. So we're going to be also decentralized company that is going to be in charge of development of the platform.
Yeah, my question is how, if it's different countries, they are regulated business, so it's really difficult for business to communicate, yes, between countries. So you guys want to solve this problem, but how are you will be solve the problem with the government regulation? Because even though the government try to regulate it, even if like you protect these companies behind you, like I try to understand it just for me. How you will solve these regulation problems? Do you have this?
I mean, of course, whole blockchain space is not regulated at this moment, right? So governments are trying to understand what's going on and how to regulate this space. Of course, they at this moment they are trying to come up with some form or some information that are trying to like stop companies from being launched on different blockchains, but to enforce, this the regulation on a blockchain, all countries would need to come together and agree on regulation of the blockchain space, right? And this is something probably that's never going to happen. We have internet for 40 years, and they still didn't figure out how to regulate internet space other than ban it, right? So let's say I purchased something from Italy a few months ago. I lost money in the trade, but there's no. I have really limited options to get my money back through traditional system, because it's a company was in different jurisdiction, right? So this is internet company, 40 years of internet, and governments still didn't come together and didn't solve this problem. So I don't think they're going to be able to regulate blockchain space anytime soon. So we need to come up with own ideas how to regulate, how to automatically regulate this space. So our blockchain or our platform is not trying to make like wild west. We are trying to come up with automated system that will let business owner know that there is some problem with this jurisdiction. You should not sell to this jurisdiction, right? So something automated that every business owner can launch a company and start selling and be regulated by our platform.
I see. As soon as I understand and summarize for me, because it's really interesting, the product and this really interesting topic that you are discover, I would say, and I try to understand it for me. the decentralized autonomic organization right now, worldwide, they are working, try to work with the governments. As soon as the blockchain space will be regulated and we understand how it's regulated, you are on this blockchain space, so it's much easier working through you. Am I right? I understand it correct?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, governments would need to understand how to regulate Bitcoin, and so far, no one was really able to regulate Bitcoin, and I don't think even it is possible. Basically, what DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization, um, it's a protocol. It's a certain rules that are within organization, and they are based on rules how members of the organization are going to vote on certain proposals. A good example of DAO is, for example, Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin is decentralized and it's really hard to regulate by any government, right? So that's exactly what's going to happen with xDAC companies, right? They are decentralized and they're going to be hard to regulate by a government across the world.
All right. So we have to leave this this time. So just the one little moment. Are you unique in your field? Like only it's xDAC, it's only one company who devoted the same this particular problem in this field, or some competitors who in a blockchain try to solve the same problem already?
Yeah, so as a DAC, decentralized autonomous companies, I haven't heard of any other project that is trying to solve the same problem. There are different projects that trying to create decentralized autonomous organizations. So DAO, they are focusing on DAO. DAO is organization, right? The main difference between DAC and DAO is non-profit. Organizations are religious organizations, sport organizations, different type of organization. There is a space for organizations, right? But you cannot use organization for business. There is no one you can call if you wanna resolve your problems. Organization, there is no one to sign a deal with another company. So for me, if I see someone is claiming it's DAO, for me it's kind of a red flag, because I know I won't be able to resolve my problem if there is a problem between me and DAO. So this is different between DAO and xDAC. xDAC is focusing on profit-driven companies. So they have a real team. They're trying to create a profit, and they are trying to build a product that they can sell to audience, to their community or to their customers. And in case there is a problem between customers and DAC company or xDAC company, there is a dispute resolution board that is taking care of the dispute. If dispute is resolved in favor of the customer, we are going to take money from liability fund of the xDAC company and transfer it automatically to customer, right? So there's always someone you can talk to and always someone you can resolve your problem with. If don't, the whole process is going to be automated and you get your money back. So this is different between DAO and DAC. DAO, we have already enough desperate people with centralized companies, and DAO is kind of like extension, even worst case, I would say, which is not helping me resolve my problems. So I need companies that I can trust, and that's what we are trying to do in xDAC.
That's what we are trying to do it together with our channel, YouTube channel, PRE-ICO store. Also, we are trying to understand, try to learn about projects more deeply, so people who watching us will understand and actually have this great opportunity to ask the question directly if you guys have a question, if you folks have a question. So please feel free to ask us, and we will put your questions just on our screen. so you can have this opportunity to understand the project much more deeply and learn about it. So you make your own decision. That's really good. That's why we love the live broadcast, because everything is real in real time here right now. So we couldn't edit it. That's really clear. That's I kind of believe probably something like what you are doing,
Yeah.
because real time you can see it, everything is crystal clear. So what's the current stage of your company? What's the current stage of xDAC right now today?
Yeah, so everything depends on EOS launch. We are trying to build our platform on EOS. We are working on their testnet at this moment. Basically, very soon, our community would be able to create their own companies. So as soon as EOS launches, we are gonna deploy code that we have ready so far, and we let customers create their own companies. And shortly after, we will be adding another module of payment processing and governance, dispute resolution, and everything. But at the first stage in alpha version, we are gonna just let customers or business owners create their own companies. But everything depends on EOS launch, so we are kind of like crossing fingers and hoping everything is gonna go well, and pretty soon.
I see. So if we go right now in your website, it's www.xdac.co. We will see your pre-sale round right now and ICO rounds. Could you tell us more about it? Right now, your current stage pre-sale, you started at May 15, I see, and right now it seems like half road is behind you. Tell us more about your soft cap, about your hard cap. How do you want to realize the soft cap and hard cap, something like that?
Yeah. So soft cap is just to build a initial version, alpha, beta, and have platform ready for launch, and let customers or the business owner create companies and start attracting their customers. We planning to have the whole beta version ready by the end of the year. This is where we want to put the soft cap. Hard cap is for further development of the project, and it's we are gonna burn it within 5 years of development. After that, platform should be self-efficient and self-sufficient for covering development expenses of the platform from there. So soft cap, just build initial version. Hard cap, support the project for the next 5 years.
I got it. Okay, if you scroll down your website again, we will see all information about your token sale and roadmap, and of course this team. Could you please introduce your team and tell, like in 2 words and 3 words about each team player? So we just want to learn about them all.
So I at the beginning I mentioned what I went through by myself. There is Eric, which is our CTO or technical lead. He's working on implementation of our platform into EOS. Developers, these are developers I worked with on prior projects, so I know them really well. I know what they are capable of. Really good experience working with them before. And basically the other part of the team, those are more like community support and research. People also I worked with them in my prior project that were focusing on research of disruptive technology. So they have an idea about everything that is disruptive about robots, AI. So they know kind of like this field real well. Our advisors, we have really good advisor in terms of governance and DAO, and he's attorney for different other project, the ICO project. He went through our white paper and all our contracts and everything, so he's quite experienced attorney. And then there are representatives in different industries, so everyone pretty much getting into our project and trying to understand and see what are advantages and disadvantages in compared to traditional system and xDAC. So they are kind of like digging and trying to understand if it's going to be helpful or not, and of course proposing some updates.
I see. All right. So I have a lot of questions, but right now we already half an hour online. So I think we will have opportunities to have the second round and the third round of our interview and learn more about your team and about your level of the company and your current stage during the time. But just before we finished, I want to ask you if we are right now like calm down for a second, just relax and just imagine the future. Let's say 6 years. I love this question because everything that we do right now, it's a future. So let's turn our imagination, and 6 years from now, you open your eyes in California, or maybe you are travel somewhere in the morning, like right now it's 11:30, and what the world is about. Where is the xDAC and xDAC and world? What's happened?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get to that. The idea of xDAC is also that not only humans can create companies, but also autonomous agents. Basically, existing laws understand company as an entity created by humans, because someone needs to be liable for company actions. But if we have self-regulated governance and dispute resolution, we can start thinking about companies created by entities other than humans, right? So we can have bots, robots, AI create their own companies. So I see that in the future we are going to have a lot of more companies created by other entities than humans.
That's great. So thank you very much for this interesting information, this conversation actually. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about xDAC ICO project, and my guest today was Oscar Duris. And we're talking about xDAC self-governed platform for creating and managing decentralized autonomous companies. My name is Kirill Lutsenko. My big pleasure to see you in discovering the most interesting and new startups and projects, and you make your own decision. How do you like? How do you trust? You ask questions online, and that's how we are build this system of trust. Thank you very much, Oscar. My big pleasure to see you here.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
So we'll see you soon.
Thank you.